taking those 5 keys and applying them to our lives?
So basically, we can develop all of them thanks to the practical tools which I am teaching to my clients throughout the coaching or seminars. And basically, we know from the research that all of these skills can be developed. Thanks, first of all, to the assessments where we usually start, and then we build personal toolbox. So, for example, if you struggle with emotional expression, we can help you to, for example, expand your emotional vocabulary.
Do you want to go through those 5 keys again so I can post them to the community? Because I've gotten some women who would like to know what they are here.
Sure. So the first one is self-awareness.
Okay.
The second one is self-expression.
Typing. Okay.
Then we have relationship skills, so relationships basically.
These are all major topics that our society doesn't really give us any information about, right? And what's the 4th one?
Decision making.
Yeah. Decision making. I should say I want to put in healthy decision making, but it's it's about healthy decision making.
Exactly.
And the 5th?
Stress management.
Yeah, well, we all need that.
Exactly. In our everyday life.
Yeah. So let's dive in a little bit to self-awareness. How do women become, and what is self-awareness, and how do women become self-aware?
So basically, for me, self-awareness is we can imagine is the key building block of our emotional intelligence, which is really like the foundation. So basically knowing who we are, what do we stand for, so knowing what are our values, also knowing how, or being aware how our feelings also have impact on our thinking, behavior, our actions. So it's really, I would say, being aware of who we are, but also about our emotions.
And what about self-expression?
So in self-expression here, the goal is really to be able to express our emotions, both verbally, which means being able to put the name on what we are currently feeling, and also non-verbally, which is basically our body language.
And how do you learn how to do that?
So basically with many clients, for example, we are working to expand their emotional vocabulary. Why it happens very often? Because from the research, we know that in average, an adult is using 5 to 6 words only to describe how they feel.
Really?
So basically, very often you can hear it, for example, at work. How are you feeling? And what will everyone answer around you?
Fine.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you see, fine, angry, happy. So so here our goal is really to expand this emotional vocabulary, because from the English dictionary we know that there are around 2,000 different words.
Okay, so we have fine, angry, happy. What are 3 more words that are used?
Surprised, glad, frustrated. So for example, what I do, I use this beautiful cards with my clients when where we discussed different emotions, and we discover different words.
That's a great thing. But there are over 2,000 words in the dictionary which describe emotions.
Yes.
That's a lot. Big difference.
Exactly.
And I like those little cards. Those are very cool. So now what about relationship skills?
So here, what's the most important is basically to be able to build healthy relationships. But for example, it starts with, for women, very often assertiveness.
What? I'm sorry. What does it start with?
For example, for women, what we usually observe is assertiveness issues. So
Assertiveness,
yeah,
yes.
people pleasing and being scared to say no or not knowing how to say no. So it can be, for example, one of these topics, how to set healthy boundaries for ourselves.
That's a really big one. I talk about that in my community, that women with breast cancer have what I call the blurry boundary syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that they take care of everyone else and then they're on the back burner and they say yes too often when they really need to be saying no. So
very important and
very,
very challenging.
very challenging.
Mm,
You have to really
I
read
agree.
your entire wiring that you were brought up with, and society encourages. Let's not forget that. Society encourages that. And how about healthy decision making?
So basically, it's our ability to, when we need to make, I would say, important decisions, to really, I would say, be able to master our emotions, not to, so basically, make the best choice for ourselves, but not being hijacked by our emotions.
I think that's really, yeah. It's about being able to make the best choice in what is a difficult situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you feel like there's this expression in English, I'm caught between a rock and a hard place. And there, with breast cancer, sometimes there is that. And I think it's important that you go into those situations very educated and with your eyes wide open, so that in the future, when you look back, well, I shouldn't have had a mastectomy, or I should have not done chemo, or I wish I had done chemo, you're able to hold on to the decision that you made at that time as the right decision for you, with given the landscape that you had to work with. And I think that's very important. Otherwise, your mind can just drive you crazy, right? And we don't talk about these skills in society, at least not in America. So the fifth one is stress management, which everyone needs help with all the time. And how would you recommend women work with that?
I would say, first of all, to really become aware of, to identify what pushes us, these emotional buttons, these stress buttons, because very often there are some, I would say, common patterns which come up very often. So really, I always encourage my clients to take time really and to reflect on, are there any specific situations, for example? Is it any specific environment, or it can be even people? Exactly, who are pushing our emotional buttons, and really try to identify them and also understand when it's happening. Observe our body, where is this stress arising in our body, and also maybe ask ourselves, why? Is there any maybe past story behind, which is not even related to the current situation?
Yeah. Is there a past history involved that is influencing your current that's called a complex Jungian psychology. When you have a wound and it's scraped, and then that puts you into a stress reaction.
Exactly.
So you've taken a lot of chaos of living and you've really organized it into a very condensed, clear method. And how does your system then help women? How long does it take? And how do they go through your program?
So basically what we usually do, we start with this emotional intelligence assessment, which is online. It's around 20 minutes it takes. Then I analyze all the inputs, all the information, the details, and then we have what I call the brief session, where I introduce and explain them all the content, and all, because there are also subscales, and how it's structured, and then I basically present them the results. And then we have very open discussion about where they want to go. Some clients, they say, okay, that's enough for me. Now I know. Thank you very much. Some clients say, oh, I see, for example, I really need to become more aware and be more assertive. Could you help me out with this? So it's really tailor-made it according to their needs and also their wishes, because on our life journey, we are every time, I would say, we have different goals and different desires. So I really try to adapt, I would say, these coaching sessions according to what they need and what they also want. So
that's very beautiful. Yes. And how do women find this emotional intelligence questionnaire?
So basically, I propose it on my web pages, as I'm a certified in running this emotional intelligence assessment. So they can find all the details on my web page. And basically, it's a scientifically developed assessment, which was developed by Multi Health Systems in Canada.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. So it's something that's really been measured, and it exists for over 20 years now. So we have plenty of data behind, and as you can see, it's really complex. So you can really get a great picture of where are you now, and also decide where do you want to go.
Wonderful. Well, I encourage all of the women in my community, if you resonate with what Vendula is talking about regarding emotional intelligence, there is a lot to be learned about this topic, and emotions and how we manage ourselves in the world are a very important part of how we heal. So I really support the work that you're doing, and thank you so much for your skills and for taking time out of your day to be here with me and my community, and it's very much appreciated. And your information will be posted on this interview, and I encourage everyone to take advantage of Vendula's expertise, because we all need help in, if not all 5 of these areas, at least. It's impossible not to need help in some area. From 1 to 5, we all need help. And that's what I'm here to provide, information about how to get the help and support you all need to optimize your health, recover your health, and restore your life. So this is Carol Lourie signing off for today, and there'll be more shortly. And Vendula, hang out with me for a second after we stop our interview. And ladies, have a lovely day, and there'll be more later. Thank you for being here.
Have a lovely day.
Bye for now.